What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Spot Show Podcast, an independent wrestling podcast with a few pit stops along the way. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Jim Minton, Dickie Wabash, joined as always by the one-legged wonder, Michael Madrox.
Dickie.
Yes, sir.
Big news today.
What's the big news?
Exit light, enter night.
Take my hand off to Never Never Land.
How was it?
So here's the thing. Let's get this out of the way right now. In typical Spot Show fashion, we are in the middle of what could be a very potentially large storm. So that pause that you just heard there was me. Are those tornado sirens that I hear? And they are not tornado sirens. So we're going to be good.
Here at MadBash North.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're here at MadBash Studios, Honey Creek. And if you hear sirens, they are, in fact, on our end. No, man, this is probably one of those moments that there's no probably to it. It is. You talk about it. You say there's no way that it's ever going to happen. Well, guys, today it is here officially on the Spot Show Podcast. Our interview with the Sandman, the hardcore icon, the Sandman, made
Hardcore
his
hack,
way.
baby.
He made his way, man. He made his way on to Bash the Rail with myself, with Reb, with Minderz. Michael Madrox could not be there for the interview. We are getting ready to get into the interview here in just a second. It is definitely one that if you have never listened to the Spot Show Podcast and this is your first time joining us, welcome. Hopefully you like what we're doing here. And here's the thing. Let me give you a little bit of a reminder. This is, of course, the Spot Show Podcast, where each and every week Michael Madrox and I get together and we talk about the wacky world of independent wrestling and everything in between. Like I said, if this is your first time here, welcome. If you like what we're doing here, the best way you can support us is by going to patreon.com/MadBash Studios. Back us at the $5 tier. You're going to get all of our content early and ad-free. You're also going to get some exclusive content, more information, patreon.com/MadBash Studios. The best way to be sure that the microphones stay on and the envelopes stay full. That is not the only way that you can support us. You can, of course, go to madbashstudios.com. There you're going to find links to all of our social media, all of the podcasting platforms. Go there, leave us reviews, leave us follows, all of that. We would very, very much appreciate it. Now, we have got some plug skis and upcoming dates for you. Coming up, if you're hearing this on Thursday, this Saturday, we have got EPW Cyber Hex. The MadBash brothers are going to be in the commentation station. We have got the MadBash Wrestling Champion, Colby Jack, is going to be defending the MadBash Wrestling Championship against Justin Myers. That is going to be one that you are not going to want to miss. Then, coming down the road, July 20th, MadBash Wrestling proudly presents Nothing Personal, It's Just Business. More information on that you can find on Facebook, MadBash Studios. And of course, this episode is brought to you by Elite Pro Wrestling and Venom Energy. But Michael Madrox, we have got some very important stuff to get into here. Something that many people know, if they've listened to the show, they know that this very much so is a bucket list item for me. An interview with the Sandman. Sandman is truly one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. This was a pinch me, I'm dreaming moment, and you are about to hear the interview that we did, that I did with Reb and Minderz. It was a hell of a time. Madrox, wish that you could have been there, definitely, but this was a fun interview. This was a really good time. So we are just going to go ahead and jump right now into the interview. Here it is, Bash the Rail interview with the hardcore icon, the Sandman.
All right, welcome to a special presentation from the Jumping the Rail podcast. This is Mark Reb, and coming from the Noodles position in Champaign, Illinois, joined as always by my buddy Minderz and Dickie, third mic. Dickie MadBash from the MadBash Studios is joining us. We were going to have Michael Madrox with us, also the one-legged wonder, but he is unfortunately unavailable. But this is not your usual JTR. It's not going to be current wrestling, no news, nothing. It's just all talk here, and it's going to be a good one.
Yes.
So, Dickie, have you been able to survive today?
I'm here.
You are here.
So I survived for the most part.
Not sweaty, not overly overcome. I think we're good.
We'll save that for paid show.
All right. All right. Well, Dickie, why don't you do the honors and introduce our guest?
Oh, absolutely. To put it bluntly, I don't think this man requires an introduction. Former ECW heavyweight champion, 5-time ECW heavyweight champion, mind you, did my research on that one. Former ECW tag team champion, of course, with Too Cold Scorpio. And in my opinion, most importantly, the winner of the TNA Hard 10 tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, the hardcore icon, the Sandman, is here. I already see him rolling his eyes, probably because of the TNA Hard 10 tournament.
Did I actually win that thing?
You did, yes. According to Wikipedia, you were the winner of the Hard 10 tournament.
Yeah, I don't even remember. What a debacle that was. No, it was so bad. And then they put me in charge of it. They let me freaking, I don't know, whoever said, because nobody knew what was going on, freaking. So then I think I booked the last couple matches, honestly. Like, I think, didn't New Jack might have had somebody in a prelim match, and I think I put that together or something.
I think it was you two in the finals, if I remember right. Yeah. That was so weird. It was like, what, 1 point? 1 point for a weapon hit, 5 points for going through a table. Just the weirdest concept in the world.
You know, it's just they wanted to try something that nobody else did. You know what I'm saying? I can't fault them for that. Same thing as that 5-sided ring. You know what I mean? It's just different.
Yeah, it was definitely something different for sure.
Yo, so where's the one leg kicker dude at?
Oh, the one-legged wonder. He, my co-host, he sadly couldn't make it here tonight, but he sends his his best wishes. He's just as big a fan as I am. We talk about on our podcast. We have very fond memories of ECW. All of it. So we have nothing but great things to say about that time period. So he does send his regards. Sorry he couldn't be here.
I was kidding.
All right, do I get the first question? Can I have the first question?
There we go, girl. Start fire.
Oh, here we go, Minderz. Let's go.
So my first question is, who came up with the surfer gimmick, and how much did you hate that wetsuit?
Well, I had so I'm literally like less than like a couple months into my career. Like I started in March. By June, I had my first match, and then so Jerry Lawler called Joel Goodhart, the promoter of Tri-State Wrestling Alliance back in the day before it turned into Extreme or Eastern and then Extreme. And Lawler said he wanted a couple gimmicks. So I needed more of a gimmick. He didn't just want to come down there as a guy. So I'm the Sandman. I figure, get a surfboard and go down there as a gimmick. Next thing you know, I'm working on top with Lawler. I was there for probably like 3 or 4 months. After the first month, I was working on top with Lawler, so he liked me.
There you go. Well, that's important.
Well, they went under soon after that, though. Within the next, so I had a lot to do with killing the USWA, putting me on top with Lawler back in them days.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Really?
What's Reb got going?
Yeah, Reb, what do you got up?
I did a little homework. I've been listening to a lot of your own podcast that you did with your boys, and some things that came up that I didn't know. I didn't know that Todd Gordon was actually responsible for your current character, like getting rid of the wetsuit, going just to be more yourself.
Well, I came the first night. So I come back from It's right around January. I don't know what the frick year it was, maybe 91 or something, whenever Paul got there. And Paul took one look at it. He goes, "We're going to break that surfboard over your head tonight." I was like, great. Because I wanted to get rid of it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm glad it went bye-bye.
Yes. Yeah. So let's
process.
So let's throw on the Zubaz and let you go out there and drink the beer and smoke the cigarettes.
That's how I showed up to the arena, dude. I never had to get changed or anything, dude. I showed up, and that's how I just was. It was great. It was the greatest gimmick ever.
Yeah, you actually said one of my favorite documentaries is the Forever Hardcore documentary that Jeremy Borash produced. And you actually you said in that documentary that there was a discussion backstage of like, the surfer gimmick's not getting over. So let's just go let him be Hack. And when did you realize that it clicked? Like, was it a slow burn?
Yeah, Paul didn't love me as much as Todd did. You know what I'm saying? So Todd's like, listen, this is because Paul didn't love me. So Todd's like, listen, well, that ain't working. Let's let him go out there and be him. And then that's when it all clicked in with the cigarettes and the beer and everything. You know what I mean? I mean, it was a process doing it. You know what I'm saying? And then I got real lucky with getting the cane because of that kid Michael Fay in Thailand. Getting his 6 lashes or 6 or 8 lashes or whatever. And Paul got the idea to give me the cane. So, and then just all happened in like a 2-year time. Didn't all happen at once.
Didn't he just pull a branch off of a tree? And
yeah, literally. We're standing under a tree, pulled a branch, picked all the little twigs off and said, put some tape on it. I'd love to find that promo. I bet you I can ask Ron or Charlie next time I see him. I want to see that promo.
Yeah, that was probably really the first time that it clicked was the whole Tommy Dreamer, thank you, sir, may I have another? Like, I mean,
Dreamer.
Yeah, Dreamer.
Thank you, sir, because I gave him when I was caning him the 10 times. That's a rugby saying. So yeah. I used to, when I was playing rugby, I said I wanted to use it in there. But Tommy Dreamer I was hooking my wife, I was hooking Peaches out to him, and he wasn't paying his bills. So instead of being a heel like I'm supposed to, but in Philadelphia, it's just the opposite. The more I would hook her out to people, and then I would beat him up because he wouldn't pay his bill for my wife. So we were doing that, and that was even getting me over, trying to be a scumbag. You know what I'm saying? It's like weird.
Yeah, and then the whole blinding angle, which I think that like people tend to forget about. Like that was really one of the first times majorly that kayfabe was broken, and like here's everyone backstage really kind of like are like, oh my God, Sandman's really hurt. Here's good guys, bad guys. And is it true that you did not leave your house? Like you sold it? Like
you have to understand, not everybody had a computer in their pockets back then.
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean? It's very early in my career. You know what I mean? So Paul, he puts me over like, oh, he didn't leave his house for like a month or stuff, but it's not like it is now. You know what I mean? You do anything, anytime, anywhere, people know, It was different back then, so it was easier to kayfabe.
That actually goes into one of my questions I had for you, Sandman. Do you think that social media today is more of a hindrance, or is it more of a help for the wrestlers today?
It's just different now. It's kind of like, I'll give you a perfect example. Like back in the day, like matches used to be the way matches are. And now how many guys think that every match is like AEW, there are 8,000 spots to nowhere, right? So everybody, it's like, all right, well, look at the match that they had, the tag match that Cena and Cody that they just had the tag match. That was an old school match, dude. That was like right out of like Florida. Or Texas or something like that. And it was a nice breath of fresh air to me. I mean, it was slow, you know what I mean? And I mean the heat on. I mean, how long can you have heat on Uso? You know what I'm saying? Right. It seemed like it lasted like a half hour on him, but things are just different now. So the media is the media, and it's an evolutionary thing. You know what I mean? So.
We're definitely an old school crowd here. I know Reb and I are. We're definitely old school. Dickie, I think you are too.
I'm kind of in the middle.
My son has to get me on these Zooms. I don't know how to do it. I don't. You ask your producer. He was talking to my son, not to me getting on this thing.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to get you on here. Yeah, it definitely seems like I think that wrestling is cyclical in a way. Like it definitely seems like what's old is new again. And I have said it about the Cena Cody match at Mania. That match felt very territory-esque. And it was just very simple heat from Cena, simple shine from Cody, stuff like that. And I think that we're starting to see kind of a comeback and like of what's old is new again.
Well, especially when literally everybody in the match is so over. You don't have to do anything for one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at the talent. Look at the top that company, the talent that's in that company right now. You know what I mean? Anybody that goes out there is going to be over huge. It's just the way it is. You know, it's crazy, but there's so many guys that are so over in that company right now.
Yeah, and it really is a boom period.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, compared to, it just makes no sense why now people love WWE, but people can't watch AEW. I don't get it. And their ratings aren't getting any better. WWE's. They're like a flat 5 million, I think, something around there.
Do you think tribalism is killing pro wrestling?
Wow, you mean, dude, as in like there's in like 10 years there'll be a company that's just Samoans?
Well,
I will like that.
I love it.
Dude, I always thought that. There's so many of them, they could literally have their own company.
I would be for it. No, I mean, like there's definitely there's like, it doesn't seem like there can be any middle ground, man. It's either you like one or you like the other. Why can we not like both? You know?
I don't know. It's hard to. I don't understand what AEW's. It's like, okay, so WWE ends up buying whatever, the AAA or whatever.
AAA, yeah.
Okay, and now all of a sudden it's like they're going to AEW's going to Mexico. It's like they. It seems like every match there's Mexican guys in it. I don't understand. It's like, all right, so are they fighting against WWE over Mexican talent right now?
I don't even decide what they're fighting over.
How many Mexican 6-man tag matches there are now?
Yeah, that does seem like to be maybe that's the territory that they're all fighting over. Like maybe they can find the next top star from the Mexican territory, you know? I mean, maybe that's where they've chosen to fight their battles. It's hard to say.
They got those 4-hour shows. I'm like, oh my God, dude, these 4-hour shows. And there's so many 6-man matches.
On Wednesdays. It's not even on the weekend. It's on Wednesdays. They're dumb.
I got a job to wake up for in the morning. Are you kidding me? I can't sit and watch 4 or 5 hours of wrestling.
I don't know. Maybe
it's
not supposed to make money. I mean, the dad's so big. I mean, when you make that much money, you need write-offs.
Yeah,
that's true.
Could be.
I can't imagine them making money. Do they make money?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they're making it hand over fist. I mean, you look at the WWE now, you look at all the sponsors that are on the mat, and like you never saw that back in the day.
Now,
and that's another thing.
On the ladder.
Now, I saw a meme the other day. I saw a meme the other day that it was Triple H with like someone put patches for sponsors all over his suit, and it's like this is probably going to be him at the next.
Somebody should get a tattoo of like Nike or something. You know what I'm saying? To get paid by Nike with a tattoo.
There you go.
Yeah,
I agree.
The sponsorships they have, it says TKO written all over it. If you look at UFC shows, they've always got the sponsors all over the mat there also. But I want to get back in. Dickie had his fanboy moment before we went live with you. I want to share mine. I think my favorite moment in the whole time I watched ECW was the night you came back in '99 to the ECW arena. I don't think I ever on a television I never heard a crowd as loud as it was when you came back. So just can you talk a little bit about
knew. Nobody in the locker room knew. Until like 5 minutes before I appeared up on top of whatever that thing was or whatever. But we kayfabed everybody. Nobody in the locker room even knew what was happening.
How hard was it to keep kayfabe alive when you were when you had your?
Easy. I had a big van, so I just sat out in my van. I was watching TV. It was it was one of those with a bed in the back. There was captain's chairs. There was 4 of them. Little TV.
It's the most 90s thing I've ever heard. That's the most 90s description.
Yeah, dude, we all used to travel in the Sandman van. That's what we used to call it.
Sandman van. I love it.
We get like 6, 7 wrestlers in there. We'd all roll up the shows together.
Now, who all used to travel with you? I mean, I know Fonzie used to.
At certain times, it's different because you're coming in and out of the company. You know what I mean? But a lot of times, it was me, Fonzie, Todd, Scorpio, Nancy. Picking up everybody up at the airport Sunday because we were flying into Philly a lot back then because we were still a little bit more regional, and then going to New York, going to Allentown, going to Jim Thorpe, stuff like that from our base there. So everybody would fly in, and then we'd all meet at the airport, and then we'd roll from there.
So it's kind of like how Sabu with the Winnebago from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love the story you told about the first time you rode in the Winnebago with Sabu when you had your beer.
Oh, when I spilled the beer, I spilled beer. It was none were opened or anything, but it was cans and ice in this thing. And oh my God, you should have seen the look on freaking Sabu and Fonzie's face. It was priceless. Oh my God, it was so very first day.
We've had Fonzie on our Jumping the Rails show a couple times.
Fonzie's so
we've had so much fun with him.
Great interview. Yeah. I mean, you got to realize that that guy's the matches that he's actually refereed in his life are like some of the biggest matches ever that have ever happened. Fonzie was the third guy in the ring. You know what I mean? So he knows everybody from years and years and years. I mean, he was rolling in the territories in the early 80s with all those guys. Mm-hmm. Like Kevin Sullivan and Dusty. He knew them all.
Yeah.
They all loved him, dude. They all loved him. Never heard anybody say a bad word about that guy ever.
No. Yeah, I've not had a chance to be on with Reb and Minderz when they've talked to him, but I mean, even just in passing, you always hear the stories about how good of a guy he is. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So one thing, this is completely as my brother would say, this is completely shithouse luck that we have gotten on this day specifically because Sandman, you may not even realize it. You might. I know Reb. Okay, well,
just tell him, Dickie.
Here's the super fan Dickie coming forward here. 30 years ago today is the anniversary of the barbed wire match that you had with Cactus Jack at the ECW arena. It just so happened that today is the day 30 years ago that you had that match. Do you have any memories from that day or?
Oh yeah. Me, Cactus, I didn't really like him. He didn't really like me. At this point, I don't know if there's a dislike or whatever, but but it was so easy to work with him in the ring, dude. He was so easy. Just what a professional the guy was, so. And he told me a lot.
This episode is brought to you by Elite Pro Wrestling. We all love live entertainment, right? We all love live wrestling, right? Well, what if I told you that there is a place that combines the entertainment and the wrestling live that we all love? Look no further than Elite Pro Wrestling. Whether it's in person in Odin, Indiana, or Washington, Indiana, or if you check them out on YouTube, Elite Pro Wrestling guarantees a quality show that allows them to live up to the name Elite. If you're feeling generous, go ahead and check them out on Patreon as well. If you back them, you're going to get early access to all of their shows before they hit YouTube. Again, check out EliteProfessionalWrestling.com. This episode is brought to you by Venom Energy. Hey, we've all been there, and there's nothing wrong with admitting to it. Well, what I mean is that we've all hit that midday slump, and we all need a little push to get us through the rest of the day. Well, what better option to give you a pick-me-up than one of the wonderful flavors of Venom Energy? Venom is what gets MadBash through those long show days, and we know that it can do the same for you. I'm going to sweeten the pot a little bit for you, too. Yeah, Come to our merch table when you see us at a show, and with the purchase of a MadBash Wrestling sticker or magnet, you get a Venom energy drink on us. While supplies last, of course, so you better act quick. We'd like to thank Venom again for sponsoring this episode. Please consume responsibly. Not recommended for children under 18, pregnant or nursing women, or people sensitive to caffeine.
Like another big angle that kind of involved him in a weird way. You don't really hear a lot of people talk about this, and I think it's one of the greatest moments in early ECW history. The return of the Funker, when you did the box trick and Funk came out of the box, and that was really something special.
Dude, I set that whole thing up. I got I was the one that got the red, white, and blue pants for me and Terry. And obviously the trash can was right there. I went to this Joanne fabric store, which I think just went bankruptcy in the last couple months. Yeah, that's funny that you know that. And I had to get I don't know. It was black. It was on a bolt, you know what I mean? And I got 9-10 feet of it or whatever. And then DC Drake was in there too with Funk.
Mm-hmm.
So he pulls out DC Drake first, and then they think, oh, that's the big surprise, you know what I mean? And then later on, and then Funk comes out. If you watch that again, it's all hard cam. It's a lot of hard camera back then. It's not like, oh my God, you can almost throw up. They changed so many camera angles during a WWE pay-per-view or Monday night. I mean, it's 8,000 camera shots in a 10-minute match. It's crazy. But then you just watch Funk, and then because they think it's me because it's the red, white, and blue pants, and he pulls the Cactus pulls the thing off of him, and as Terry turns to the audience, everybody's starting to realize who it is. And watch the audience instead of watching what's going on in the ring. You see the people go crazy.
Yeah, because there was
once because the people behind them didn't know who it was.
Yeah, there was no jumbotron to show what was going on.
Yeah,
it was very, very low budget, for lack of a better term. Or organic is a very good way to put it. Yeah, that had to be a pinch me moment of you're just standing in the ring dressed exactly like Terry Funk and just kind of looking around what is my life right now? That had to be just a great moment.
I was in 7th grade reading wrestling magazines about Terry Funk. I had never seen him before. You know, when I was a kid, dude, when I was 5 years old, I wanted to be a professional wrestler. By the time I was in 7th grade, I was getting all the magazines, Inside Wrestling and stuff all the ones that Bill Apter wrote every article in. You guys probably never even on sale. Have you guys old enough to ever seen a wrestling magazine on sale at a store, like a bookstore?
Yeah, I'm a little bit younger than Reb and Minderz. I kind of came in towards the tail end of PWI and all that stuff. So I remember getting the ECW magazine whenever that was shortly being around, and all the PWIs and stuff like that.
We're 80s babies.
Yeah.
So Dickie, Madrox did send in a couple questions.
Yes, he's here in spirit.
Yeah, he says, ask what the ugliest belt he ever held was, is the first question.
I don't have an answer for that.
Okay.
I don't think he remembers what belts he's held.
Yeah. But dude, honestly, I can tell you what the original ECW looks like with the eagle on it.
And, it's one of the best.
I can see that, but all the rest of them are just a blur. And maybe the spinner belt from freaking the spinner belt that what's his name at. That was different. You know what I mean? I can remember that.
He also wants to know why you look so much like Raven's therapist.
Why? Have you seen his therapist?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Great. I need one right now. Everybody could use a therapist, I'm telling you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of staying in your head so much, you got to get it out to somebody.
100%. I actually see one every week, and it's one of the best decisions I ever made. One of the best decisions. So one thing I've always been very curious about. So the revival of ECW in 2006, did anybody have like high hopes that it was going to be anything? Or in the head shake tells me everything I need to know. That doesn't even need the second part of this question.
No,
because
it's like when you get there, it's like how long you don't know. You know it had a born date and it had a dead date, and you knew it wasn't too far apart.
Yeah, because the second part of the question was if people were hopeful, like when was the moment that you knew, like, yeah, this isn't going to be anything?
I never expected it to go anywhere. Not one fiber of my being ever expected that.
Yeah, I mean, especially on the first one, they got you coming out Kanan a zombie. So
that was going to be my question, Dickie.
Dude.
Dang it! I was going to ask how much fun was it to not that ECWZ.
I thought I was being ribbed because I forgot it was the very first night of Sci-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that then until I don't know, one of those producer dudes comes to get me and they like. And there was an alien there in a bright green like costume, this little small like alien dude, like you've seen any movie or something like that. And then Timmy was there, and I'm like, "Yo, dude, are you like ribbing me? This is what you want me to do?" And then I'm like, "Sure, I'm getting ribbed." And then Dreamer's like, "Yo, Hack, it's first Sci-Fi episode." And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got it." I said, "All right," because I knew Timmy and I wanted to get him to work. You know what I mean? So obviously I picked Timmy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought it was goofy, but I loved it because right then I understood that they know that they're not looking at me as a match person. They're looking at me as a part of a segment part. You know what I mean?
And
I go out and cane somebody.
And
you know what I mean? That's why I was like, oh yeah, this is a good spot to be in.
Yeah,
it's a great spot.
Or have to wrestle at all.
Yeah, just go out, beat someone with a cane, and get that paycheck. You know, you made a career out of it.
Still am.
Still am. Yeah,
crazy.
Still am.
Dude, I've been so busy this year. I probably coming up into June. I've probably worked like at least 3/4 of the weekends.
That's awesome.
Reb and I actually,
right now.
I say Reb and I actually saw you. Was it last year, Reb, that you were at Squared Circle Expo in Indianapolis? With
they all run together.
Yeah, well, you were there with it was Nova and Francine,
Rhino.
Franny's a frequent traveler with me.
Yep, and Douglas, Shane, and Blue. Was it Blue Meanie?
Did Shane Douglas talk the whole time?
Of course he did. Isn't that what he does the best?
So, I want to something I found out today. I didn't realize DDP had a big hand in getting you into WCW.
Yeah, so I was in Atlanta and him and Raven were friends, and it was DDP's party at some big club. So we went, and me and DDP got along really well. In fact, his wife got pissed that he was spending so much time talking to me. So whatever. But he said to me that night, he goes, "Dude, if you ever need a job, just get a hold of me." And I told him, I said, "No, dude, I'm never leaving ECW. I didn't really want to go anywhere else. I would have liked to have been that guy that could have been in the same company the whole time and never have been in another company, really. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or like had the same wrestling name your whole career. How many people do that? That's why I was pissed.
One. Two.
I'm sure if we sit and think about it, we could probably pick a couple.
Yeah. Well, Undertaker and Flair are the first two, or Undertaker and Sting are the first two that come to my mind.
Taker doesn't count. Mean Mark Callis. Are you forgetting about Mean Mark Callis? Come on.
When he became popular, though, he was already the Undertaker.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, though. It's just if you could go, is there anybody that had one name their whole career? Unless it was a guy it was his real name, maybe back in like the 40s, 50s or something. Maybe.
I mean, even Cena on the Indies was the prototype, so you can't even count him.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, that was long before he was well known. Long before he was well known.
The only guy I can think of is Dreamer. This is the closest I can think of. Everywhere I've seen Tommy Dreamer, he's been Tommy Dreamer.
Wow. So close to me, I didn't even think of him. That's crazy. No, he had to have another name.
I don't know.
I'm on it. You guys.
Mindy, hit the Wikipedia and let's get to the bottom of this.
Listen, Wikipedia is useless, dude. They have my birthday as June 16th. It's June 19th. People always text me. on the 16th, the last couple of days. It's not even my birthday yet, but Guido texted me today, happy birthday. And I'm like,
that might be
Guido.
Okay, can I just say right now, this is the greatest moment of my podcasting career. Hearing Sandman say Guido texted me happy birthday on the wrong day. I just peaked. That was so great, man. That was so great.
Oh, Tommy did have another name.
Oh, okay.
According to
the
Wikipedia.
Italian stud.
No. TD Madison.
Wow.
That was probably for a brief moment.
That's a deep cut, Minderz. That's a very deep cut.
Wait, does it say who was he working for? Like Tommy Fierro then, or something? Who was like he working for in New York? I know him and Guido. I think maybe him and Guido used to work for Fierro. I don't know.
Corluzzo, would it be?
I don't know. I doubt it with Carluzzo and Dreamer.
He was in International World Class Championship Wrestling under the name TD Madison. Where
how many matches did they have?
Looks like
cup
5,
of coffee.
Maybe.
All right. Okay.
He
all right,
changed
so I'm
his name.
glad he had 2 now. He hasn't beat me in that.
He changed his name to Tommy Dreamer reportedly after taking his given first name and adding Dreamer in tribute to Dusty Rhodes in '92 while working in New England.
Dude, have you ever seen a guy rip off more freaking legends? Dude, he'll come out with the polka dot pants and then he'll have Funk's freaking bandana on, and he'll be carrying a cane with him. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Tommy.
He stole Raven's pose. He stole Raven's pose.
What were you saying, Reb?
He'd also have the shopping cart full of weapons like New Jack every now and then. So,
oh wow, I never put all that together, man. That's crazy.
No, but we did that before New Jack. We actually took a beer ball. If you guys, there's a picture of me, him, and his wife and Beulah coming through the locker. And we used to do these things were beer balls. It was a ball that carried like fucking 7 gallons of beer in it or something like that. Back in the day, they used to sell these things. So that's the only reason why I remember we brought a shop with one time. Me and him brought a shopping cart together before New Jack was even in the company.
Wow.
So he didn't rip that off from New Jack.
I'm just curious. Okay. How many beers could you fit in your pants pockets? I figure at least
the
6.
one pair of pants that I had, it was like back in the day, those parachute pants that were made out of like nylon.
Those Zubas, man.
Everywhere. I could carry literally like 9 beers.
Oh, wow.
You know, they had those cargo pants on each side. You could carry 4 just right there. And then you get 2 more in your back pocket. You're at 6 right there. And then you got your front pockets, 1 each, and then 1 in your hand.
There you go.
There's your 9.
All right, Minderz is making me ask this question. So we.
No!
Oh yeah, put the heat on somebody else.
Put the heat on Minderz. That's what I do. But we do a watch along podcast. Also, we're doing all the ECW on TNN episodes, and Guido has come up.
Oh, the what episodes?
All the TNN episodes. But so anyway, we see a lot of Guido on here, and it's just occurred to us that his feet were freaking huge. Yeah. And we never
imagine how long his other crap was.
I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming.
I mean, come on, you guys. You held up a hoop. I got to jump through that.
That's true.
Low hanging fruit, right, Hack? Low hanging fruit.
You know what, though? Why is it every time we ask that question, all the ECW guys that we've asked that question to, it's all
same reason that day. I got small hands and small feet for a reason.
Well, that question always ends up going to somebody's package that somebody saw in the back. It's ridiculous.
I think Angel has won the prize so far, though.
Yeah, Angel has won the prize so far from the Baldies. So,
what's the prize at this point? My Lord,
he's got the best one so far.
He's got the biggest.
What do you get? A congratulations and a handshake on that one, Minderz?
Yep.
What are you talking?
And a tub of M&Ms. That's what.
A tub. Okay, there we go. There we go. So I think that we would be remiss if we not mention, Sabu, tragic story, terrible. Ironically, one of my first ECW pay-per-views that I ever saw was November to Remember 97, where you guys had the tables and ladders match.
Was it in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Reb, fact check me on that one. Okay.
With some
Yeah, I
bad
was pissed because they threw some tables that weren't new, and they threw them under the ring, and we didn't. And we pulled out a couple of ones who were the shits,
Yeah.
but we went with them anyway.
But yeah, that to this day remains one of my favorite matches of yours. What was it like going into those matches with Sabu? Because I mean, like you both had not necessarily conflicting styles, but they complemented each other. Like I often make the joke, and I say it with all the love in the world, that you are the king of maximum effort for the craziest spots, like grabbing the ladder, vaulting yourself over the top rope, throwing the ladder. Like what thought process, or should I say how many beers, went into the decision that this is what I'm going to do?
I don't know, dude. It's just if you're an athlete, you're an athlete. Some of those things just happen, and it's off the cuff. It's not a call. Like the time I leaped the top rope, didn't touch anything, leaped the top rope, cane cactus on the head, landed on my feet, and then just went like this.
Yeah.
Back in the day, a lot of people weren't doing. Now people were doing triple indies and landed on their feet out there. But
yeah,
you know what I mean, back then people weren't doing that stuff, and I don't know. It just happens. But working with Sabu is different, a lot different than working with almost everybody else, because you had to call. You called a lot more when you were in a match with Tommy Dreamer or Raven, and you're out there. Dude, you're out there with Nova, Meanie, my wife, my kid and stuff. You're talking way, way more. Sabu, you don't have to talk, because it's like if he's going for a table, I know he's going for a table. He's not going to say, yo, dude, I'm going to go grab this table. I can see that plainly, you know what I mean? So we have spots set up that we know, and we know what order the spots are going to happen. So we really don't have to talk about the, because if I shoot you in there and I got my arm up, you're taking a clothesline.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was easy with him like that. You really didn't have to talk like much at all. I talked more than Fonzie in a match than I would with freaking Sabu.
I would believe that. I would believe that
all the time.
Yeah, and I'm sure with matches like that. And I'm sure with matches like that, it's just like, hey, we got some ladders, we got some tables, let's go beat the shit out of each other. Let's go see. Yeah, let's go have fun.
That was fun doing that stuff, dude. I didn't want to be a tackle, drop down, hip toss, arm drag thing. That didn't interest me.
Yeah.
I think the craziest bump I ever saw you take was in I think it was the tag match, you and Funk against Cactus and Douglas, when Cactus laid you out on a table, then he just flipped the table over to the floor.
I broke my neck.
Yeah,
I cracked that was my spot, and it was my fault, because I told him I wanted to do that spot. He goes, "You sure you want to do this?" I said, "Yeah." But so when I'm laying against the table, my hands are the only thing holding me. So when he picks up the bottom and I wanted him to push my feet a little bit more to get my feet over my head. But I let go of the table too early with my hands, and I slipped down and landed right on top of my head, and I broke my C4. And wrestled through it. Didn't even know I broke it until a couple of years later in Florida when they were giving me an MRI. They thought my neck was broken. I said, that didn't happen tonight. That happened a couple of years ago. Didn't even know it.
Oh, wow.
I got back by the chiropractor the next morning. Sunday morning, I had him come in to crack me.
Oh, wow.
So you were talking about how much
broke my C4 in half. Ooh. And wrestled through it. Wrestled the next weekend and just kept wrestling.
That's crazy.
That's insane. I should have been in one of those halos that Gary was in. That halo was real, dude. That thing was screwed into his head in like the 4 places. That was real. Now, when Shane grabbed it later on, it had already taken off and he had been healed. So then it was just gimmicked on there for when they did that spot.
But
and that looked great.
The halo before that.
Wow, that got Shane probably the most heat he ever did, anything else he ever did in that building.
Well, listen, I was disappointed because you were speaking of that one, and I went back and was watching some ECW. They don't even show the crucifixion on Peacock. I was so mad.
It makes no sense. How come it can happen in a movie? It's entertainment. We're in the entertainment business. If you could do it in a movie, why can't you do it in a wrestling match?
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense to me.
They left Kurt Angle on that with his terrible commentary of the first match.
Dude, so wait a minute. You couldn't have made the Passions of Christ the movie if you think about it like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's fine to do it there, but you can't do it in front of 1,000 people in a building in Philadelphia?
And tell a better story.
It's never made any sense to me.
And tell a good story.
So what was that conversation when Raven had to go out and apologize? Did they just
you just said circle and I disagreed vehemently. I told them all they were assholes. And then,
okay, that's kind of the answer.
Raven even went out there and did it.
Yeah.
No, dude, I was pissed.
And he did it that night, right?
Dude, he did it right after that. Dude, we don't apologize for shit. What the fuck is going on here? But it was only because Kurt Angle was there the very first night he was there.
That was my next question. That was my next question of it. Had Kurt Angle not been there, do you think the apology wouldn't have been forced?
It wouldn't have happened at all.
Yeah.
It would not have happened at all. Guaranteed.
Yeah, that's one of the most iconic images.
Going on. Paul's standing there going to Kurt, I had no idea they were going to do this.
Okay, so now I think, Reb Minderz, this is the time where I do my infamous PLE voice that I always do.
Yes, please do.
Okay, Hack, Scotty, you got to go out there and apologize. Is that about how it sounded?
No, I was like, I ain't no shit, dude. You crazy. No way. No freaking way, dude.
So was there anybody on the ECW roster that you dreaded when you saw your name next to him, that you dreaded seeing your name next to him? No,
absolutely not. Unless it was Taz. But Paul knew not to put me together. Well, it made no sense putting me and Taz in a match against each other. You know what I mean? That makes no sense for one. And for two, Paul knew how a couple of us, like me, Sandman, Sabu, how a bunch of us felt about him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
But I did go out with him the day. I'm living in Salt Lake City. I went out there to start a construction business because the Olympics were starting out there. It was 96 when I went out there. Mm-hmm. Started a great concrete company. So I hurt my knee when I was in a tag match like that summer, and I hurt my knee, and it was the only time they said "you fucked up" chant to me. So and I remember that there was a couple "you fucked up" chants. So I got the surgery. It was like orthoscopic, where they just put the 3 holes in there back in the day. No, they didn't like cut you up the knee or anything. And so I had my surgery early there because I was ahead in time. Flew back to Philly with my daughter because my daughter wanted to come back to there for something because all our relatives were there. And I let Taz choke me out that night in the Lulu Temple in Conshohocken, and not too far from the arena actually. So I think that was the only time I was ever in a match was with him, and I was out there with like this long kind of like. It's like got the Velcro straps, your whole, it's from your ankle all the way up to your hip. And he just choked me out. And I remember, and I think he beat up Fonzie too. And I just remember we've watched it later on tape, and me and him are just lay with each other. I'm supposed to be choked out because he chokes me out. You know what I mean? He probably chokes Todd out too. And we're just laying there cracking up, laughing at each other. And we're like, what the fuck are we doing in here?
Was there a lot of those moments where it's like just trying to make each other break and like, what the fuck are we even doing? Like, we're just like, doing little jokes and stuff.
All the time. Like with Raven, you play that circle game. You know what the circle game is? You get him to look at it, you punch him. Or punch buggy, you know what that one is? When you're in a car and you see a Volkswagen. You're always trying to pop somebody doing something. You're together a lot of time and a lot on the road and hotels and all that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. You entertain yourself by screwing with everybody. Everybody screws with everybody. You know what I mean? Because if you're not laughing, you're going to be crying.
Yeah.
You're going to be missing your kids or whatever, missing whatever you are.
So are there any on the road stories that you can't tell? Because we've had a lot of stories.
Only the good ones are the ones you can't tell. God, there's a million of them.
We've had a lot of good ones. We've heard a lot of good ones.
So we got a couple more minutes here, Sandman. We really appreciate you making the time for us. But I wanted to ask you about the podcast. You do it with Brian Tosh and your boys.
Yeah, my sons. Ty, who the one was in the angle with Raven, and one of my other younger sons, Oliver.
Yeah,
He doesn't know nothing about my wrestling. He missed all the wrestling.
Oh wow!
Because he's like 26, so he doesn't know like any of the ECW stuff or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that podcast drops on what day is it?
Dude, I'm so bad at plugging my own shit. I mean, can you guys plug it for me, please?
Plug it for him.
It looks like the latest episode.
Dude, I'm so bad at this.
You are
I am.
fine.
It's like fine. I know, but doesn't everybody say just look for it on your podcast and the avenues that you get?
Yep.
I don't know. It's probably like the real ECW Sandman or ECW Sandman or something like
Sandman. It's the Sandman podcast on like Apple Podcast and Spotify. It looks like.
that. I don't know. There's like 4 or 5 of them. But
we have a friend that we know in wrestling. His name's Clayton Clark, and every time he's on my podcast, he'll plug his social media, and he gives a different name every time. And I got to tell him after, I'm like, Clayton, that's not what your social media is, brother.
Yeah, but has there anybody ever come on and been like, I don't know where you can find me?
No, I think this is the first. This is the
I
first.
know. I did the same thing. I was on Busted Open Radio, and Bubba asked me to push it. I'm like, I don't know where you can.
No, this is not the first time that people did not know where they were at.
Good. I don't feel like such a moron then.
Well, Sam, man, we're gonna have to have you back on sometime because we have to scratch the surface with you.
Anytime, you guys are cool. I can't wait. Maybe next time you have the one-legged dude in.
Yeah,
he would love to be here. He would love to be here. He's as big of a fan of you as I am, and you're a constant topic on our podcast. We talk about you quite frequently. I have my graded Sandman trading card here that's always here, and I got my hardcore hack figure that I have in my studio. So,
dude, I'm sorry, dude, that's what helps to keep me booked, dude. I've signed like a couple thousand of those cards in like the last I don't know, in the last year.
Yeah,
they send me boxes of the things and I sign them, and that keeps you live. And then having me on last year's game,
yep,
you know what I mean. That helps too, you know,
for sure.
Because it's crazy how and just the Peacock or where you can watch so many matches of mine. Like you have these like 12-year-old kids come up to you and they're like, "Oh my God, you're my favorite wrestler ever." I'm like, you watch a lot of Peacock, don't you? Like, oh,
yeah, I've said it. You are steadily in my top 5 of all time, and it has been an absolute pleasure to get to talk to you.
Thank God for that Peacock, dude.
Yeah.
People wouldn't know who we were now. You know what I mean? You know, Peacock's great.
Well, that's kind of the reason we went back and started doing our Extreme F and review. Because like right now we're actually getting ready to go into Hardcore Heaven. Is that the one we're doing? Yeah, we're getting ready to do Hardcore Heaven from 2000.
Yeah.
We're doing something this week. My son was just up here. I should have asked him what we were doing this week. That'd be funny if we were doing the same show.
All right.
Hey, there you go.
Sandman, thank you so much for being on.
3 times. I don't know.
Thank you so much for being on. We really appreciate it.
Yes, this was a pleasure.
We'll get back in touch. We'll get you on again.
Thank you, guys. Peace.
Wow. I got to tell you, I have had many very cool moments in my professional wrestling career and my podcasting career. And that one just set the bar, man. That one just set the bar. That one's it's going to take a while to top that one. I will. And I said it in the interview. I had a what is my life moment and I can't believe this is happening moment when Sandman just starts talking about, dude, Wikipedia, it's nothing like that. But hey, for those of you that are new to the podcast, we have something new here. Clayton Clark, you are live on the Spot Show podcast. How are you today?
Not too good.
Okay, well, that's going to more than likely get cut out. Clayton, thank you for calling the Spot Show podcast. We will definitely talk later.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you. All right, there he goes. Oh, yeah. Like we said, some of you might be first-time listeners because of the big Sandman interview. We definitely get phone calls from Clayton Clark very often. If you want to hear what was cut out of the podcast, go to the $10 tier. There you are going to see House Show, our video, just straight through us talking with no cuts, unedited. But anyway, back to my original point. One of the craziest moments in my podcasting career in terms of I cannot believe this is happening is Sandman just starts shooting on Wikipedia and he's like, dude, it's so wrong. It's like they have my birthday as the wrong day. You know, Guido texted me and told me that it was my happy birthday and it's not even my birthday. And I'm just sitting back thinking, what is happening right now? This is so cool because we watch ECW, we love ECW, and to just hear these casually bringing it up. Yeah, Guido texted me for my birthday and it wasn't even the right day. It was just so cool, man. So cool.
Great interview, man. Great interview.
Yeah. What was your big takeaway?
I told you this in private, and I'm going to tell it on the air.
Yeah.
That is the best interview where he said so much without answering a single question.
But at the same time, he answered them in a very unique way. That's what was very cool about talking with him is that Sandman's not going to be I'm going to elaborate very much. He was getting straight to the point. And we'll go a little bit more in depth, like with some of the behind the scenes of the interview whenever we go on to Paid Show on Patreon. But yeah, man, it was really funny for me because it was like, I'm gonna knock this out of the park. So what'd you think of the ECW revival? Oh, it's terrible. Next question is essentially what he said. But yeah, man, that was just, it was very cool. It's there are very few moments at this juncture where I've been doing this, where I've had dream come true moments. And that was definitely a dream interview. Shout out to Reb, shout out to Minderz, Jumping the Rail, Bash the Rail. It's our collaboration. There's definitely going to be more of that in the future. There's definitely going to be more of those in the future. And hopefully you'll be able to join us for those
emergencies, brother.
That's just how it is. And we're in emergencies right now because there's tornado sirens possibly going off and all that. But, well, Michael Madrox, we have got some other business that we need to attend to. As everyone knows, last week we took the week off. We had a little MadBash Brothers family vacation, summer vacation rather.
Summer break.
Yeah, we just took a little summer break ski. Took a week off. I know what I did, not sure what you did, but we'll get into that on Paid Show as well. And what sucked about that is that Money in the Bank took place during that, and we weren't able to in real time figure out our points for the PLE draft. So now that we are back from vacation, now that the Sandman interview is over, we can officially jump back into the 2025 PLE Spot Show draft. Now, you do not know the outcome of this. I have not told you. If you had to guess, just give me a ballpark. Who do you think won? What team won? Who do you think was the top performer? And how many points did they have?
Dickie Wabash, Becky Lynch, and 183 points.
Well, first of all, we can't do threes because it only goes in zeros and fives, you idiots. Study the product. Michael Madrox, you were correct on two of those. So, Team Wabash walks away from the spot. Wait a minute. You looked at the post that I had scheduled on Facebook, didn't you?
No.
Okay, because I was going to say maybe that's how you figured all that out. Yeah, Team Wabash walked away with the victory yet again. I walked away with 155 points. Michael Madrox walked away with 110 points. So pretty sound victory there, winning by 45 points. Becky Lynch was, of course, my top performer with 40 points. Do you want to guess who your top performer was?
Dominic Mysterio.
With 40 points as well. Yes. Dirty Dominic Mysterio, both intercontinental champions, the mid-card champions, really pulling through on this one for us, making me kind of take a step back and think maybe when that supplemental draft comes up after SummerSlam, may want to look at the mid-card title scene a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Maybe look at that United States title, that women's United States title,
Throw on the tag titles.
Tag titles.
Those
even.
divisions seem to be heating up.
Yeah, this has really thrown some curveballs here. So that leaves the overall points right now. We are sitting at Team Wabash is leading with 355 points. Team Madrox is sitting with 245. So knock wood, we have yet to have any injuries
Blowouts.
take place
Yeah.
or blowouts for that point. Yeah, let's go into that point as well. That's what I like about this one is that it's actually even. Like we're actually going into these and it's like anybody could win.
Until Crown Jewel.
Well, yeah, I feel like Crown Jewel is really going to are you talking about Crown Jewel or Night of Champions?
Night of Champions.
Yeah, sorry.
They
Well,
changed
Crown
the name.
Jewel is going to be pretty decisive because especially considering that you now have the world heavyweight champion, which we will get into that in just a second. That's the other thing too, is that I was getting ready to get into is that we've been pretty lucky with no injuries. If you remember last year, we were plagued with injuries right off the bat. My number one draft pick, I had to drop, and that was Rhea Ripley. Now my number one draft pick dropped his title on an episode of Monday Night Raw, and boy is Rikishi not happy about that.
Not at all.
That's where we've talked about this a lot with what makes this draft so interesting is that from a fan perspective, I very much want Gunther to be the world heavyweight champion. I very much want that. But Jey Uso, man, he was my number one pick. And now I don't have him anymore. So the good news is I've still got the women's IC title, still got the WWE championship, still got Oba with the NXT title. Who knows? We could. Oh, and I've got Io Sky with the WWE women's title. So I'm still sitting pretty with my champions. So as it stands right now, the overall top performer on both teams is Dirty Dominic Mysterio has netted you 80 points. And my top performer has been Big Match John Cena. He's netted me 75 points. So
how mad are you going to be if he loses the title Friday to R-Truth?
I doubt that he does. If he does, then I will forfeit. I will quit. I will probably quit everything. No, man, I'll tell you what's really kind of annoying about this too is that I'm looking at not necessarily King of the Ring, but Queen of the Ring. And as it stands right now, neither one of us is going to get points for Queen of the Ring.
No.
There's no one in it that we have that is in Queen of the Ring. I did get 15 points for Seth Rollins winning Money in the Bank. So I'm hoping that we will be able to have a cash in on a PLE. That would be great because last year both cash ins took place on non PLE shows. So I'm really hoping that can happen here because, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to do the victory lap yet. Nowhere near wanting to do a victory lap because it is still very, very early, but it's looking good for Team Dickie. The only major...
if you compare this to last year, you have the same amount of points I did during one show.
That's a shoot. You scored...
And we're 2 PLEs in so far?
3 technically with Roadblock. Now, here's the other thing. I didn't count Worlds Collide. Maybe I should have, maybe I shouldn't have, but I don't think that we even had anyone on the card, did we?
There's a card, but it was on YouTube. I don't consider that a PLE because we didn't count Saturday night's main event as PLEs.
And that's fair. That is absolutely fair. Yeah, the only person that would have netted points. Yeah, we didn't have anybody. So it didn't matter in the grand scheme. I thought maybe Penta wrestled on that card. I didn't get to watch it. But I'll tell you who I'm thinking about picking up when
Mr.
we do
Iguana?
the I'm thinking of picking up Mr. Iguana. Absolutely. We'll see where that goes. But yeah, man, I'm feeling good about the PLE draft. Not gonna count my chickens before they hatch, brother. There's still a long way to WrestleMania. That's all I gotta say. It is a long road to WrestleMania. We're only 2 months into this draft, and it could go any number of directions. But definitely starting to see how things are playing out. I'm starting to piece together who I might want to pick up in the
You see the
supplemental.
power going out?
I did, yes, and that really worries me. So, with that, that's what we're gonna. That's the wrap up point, anyway, brother. It's time for the go home here. So, yeah, shout out to the Sandman. Let me get that out there one time. Thank you for joining us. It was an absolute honor to get to talk to him. Shout out to Reb and Minderz. It was very fun to get to do that with them. Bash the Rail is something that I'm really looking forward to. It's going to be a lot of fun to get to do more of those in the future, whether we have guests, whether we don't have guests. More than likely, it'll be with guests. That's great. Again, if this is your first time checking us out because of the Sandman interview, hey, welcome. Hope that you stick around. We
hope you go back to our past catalog.
Yeah, go back through our past catalog, man, and then you can see the growth of Dickie's love for Sandman and what got us to this point. So yeah, guys, this was a pretty kind of a different spot show podcast, but like I said, we did bash the rail, so we spliced in the Sandman interview, put our little end caps on it. So yeah, guys, we really appreciate the support. Again, patreon.com/MadBash Studios. You can find me on Instagram at DWobsCardShop. You can find Michael Madrox on Instagram at the word 1 and then the numbers 900-909-9900. Of course, MadBashStudios.com for all of your MadBash Studios needs. For those of you on the Patreon, we're going to roll into Paid Show, talk a little bit about our summer vacation that we took. But for everybody else, we'll see you down the road on some form of content.